In the headlines, terrorists release remaining Abuja-Kaduna train passengers 6 months after. APC Governors National Working Committee locked in crucial meeting over campaign council crisis. Federal government registers 2 academic unions as Speaker submits report on ASU strike to President Buhari. And on the foreign scene, roadside bomb kills 3 UN peacekeepers in Central African Republic. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The federal government says all passengers abducted from the Kaduna-bound train on March 28th have been released. Secretary to the Chief of Defence Staff Action Committee, Usman Yusuf, announced this on Wednesday. Yusuf said the 7-man presidential committee assembled by the Chief of Defence Staff, Leo Irabo, secured the release and took custody of all 23 remaining passengers held hostage by Boko Haram terrorists following the attack on the Abuja to Kaduna train on the 28th of March 2022. He commended the Nigerian military and all security agencies for their efforts in securing the release of the passengers. And still on security, vigilantes have neutralized 2 terrorist kingpins in Katsina State. The vigilante ambushed the terrorists who were returning from their heinous activities between Erbudu and Kudewa villages. The terrorists rustled over 200 cows and sheep from Erloma village in Batagarawa local government area of the state. On hearing the incident, the terrorists mobilized their members from Zamfara State to avenge the attack on their members in Katsina. However, their mission was faced with resistance from the vigilantes at Mahuta village of Safana local government area. The 2 notorious bandit groups engaged themselves in a gun battle which lasted for several hours, killing many, while others escaped with gunshot wounds. And to politics now, where 6 governors of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC and some National Working Committee members, led by the party's national chairman Abdullahi Adamu, are currently meeting at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja. A former national chairman of the party, Adams Eshomole, is also part of the meeting. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa, Simon Lalong of Plateau, Sani Bello of Niger, and Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa are also in attendance. Recall that the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council and Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong had met with other campaign members on Tuesday in Abuja. Details are sketchy as the closed-door meeting is still in progress, but sources at the meeting said it was aimed at resolving issues surrounding the composition of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Meanwhile, political parties in Zamfara have signed a peace accord to ensure peaceful conduct of the electioneering campaigns leading up to the 2023 general election. Commissioner of Police Zamfara State, Kolo Yusuf, while addressing the parties, announced a ban on quasi-security outfits and the use of firearms during the campaigns in the state. The report. Called by the 18 political parties in Zamfara State, which is a demonstration of commitment that their members and supporters will exhibit good conduct and shun violence during the electioneering campaigns. The peace accord was organized by the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security to make political parties and their candidates promise the public that they will enjoin their members and supporters to promote peace and shun acts capable of provoking violence before, during and after the election. The Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State, CP Kolo Yusuf, assured the political parties and Nigerians that the security agencies will ensure fair, transparent, credible and violence-free elections. He said the police force will not tolerate any act of violence from any quarters.
Therefore, the committee is clearing house on election security matters, agendaed by the need to pull security assets together for efficient and effective deployment and management during the forthcoming elections. On behalf of my colleagues, I wish to welcome you to this peace signing accord by political parties and assure you of the committee's commitment and determination to create a conducive atmosphere for free, fair, credible, non-violence election February 2023.
The resident electoral commissioner in Zamfara State, Professor Babura Ahmed, explained the commitment of the commission to leverage on technologies to conduct the 2023 general elections to ensure credible, fair, transparent and acceptable 2023 general elections.
I want to give assurance on behalf of African Action Congress and the good people in the state. We are very law-abiding citizens. As young as we are, we come for peace. And I urge all my colleagues, state chairman and their members, this is not a war, this is a game. It's either to win or to learn. We never lose.
Some political parties' governorship candidates were represented by their running mates, while others were physically present to sign the peace accord. And some PDP stakeholders in Plateau State say they are not discouraged by the recent withdrawal of support by former Governor John David Jang for the PDP presidential candidate. The former Plateau State Governor, alongside other party members loyal to Governor Nyesom Wike, recently pulled out of Atiku's campaign team, following the refusal of the national chairman of the party, Dr. Iyorchia Ayu, to resign his position to pave way for someone from the southern part of the country to take over. Ado Musa completes the report.
Soon after the former Governor Jang backed the decision of Wike's group to withdraw support for Atiku Abubakar, some PDP stakeholders in the state, under the umbrella of Plateau for Atiku Group, reiterated their support for the PDP presidential candidate, adding that they were not discouraged by Jang's decision, saying the decision was a personal choice of the former governor. An interim secretary of Plateau for Atiku, Professor Shedrack Bess, re-emphasized that the PDP presidential candidate remained their preferred candidate and believed that he will win the presidential election in the state come 2023. He said he hopes that before the general elections, the former governor will rethink and join Atiku's campaign team. But if he refuses, it will not stop PDP from winning Plateau State.
Like I said, I have given Senator Jang all his respect, all the honor that is due him as a leader in the PDP. But I know that if he comes to join the Atiku campaign, and I believe he will, that would be beautiful. If he does not come, that would be a personal choice, but it's not going to stop Atiku Abubakar from winning Plateau, because all the people of goodwill have come together. And I believe that Senator Jang will not openly campaign against Atiku.
The secretary, however, believed that the former governor is open to discussion, and when such avenue is provided, he will listen to the PDP presidential candidate.
Of being ill-advised, I believe he is experienced and exposed enough to know what is right, and we give it to him for his experience and pedigree and age, that he is not being ill-advised. We believe that he has some considerations, but one of the things that I know about is that he is open to discussion, and I believe that if he finds an opportunity for a one-on-one discussion with Atiku Abubakar, probably many things will change.
Professor Bess further said all other people of goodwill in the state have identified.
And still talking politics, supporters and loyalists of the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu held a solidarity walk in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The long walk took them across major roads in the ancient city. These supporters converged on the party secretariat in Okeado and took the rally across major roads in the ancient city. At the end of the rally, the All Progressive Congress governorship candidate in Oyo State addressed the crowd, calling on residents in the state to ensure they exercise their franchise in the 2023 elections. Some party members and supporters believe the APC presidential candidate has the experience, capacity and competence to lead the country to the promised land.
Is by popular demand. People of Oyo State came to us and said, look, we want to show our support for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, we want to set our mark. We want to make it clear that Oyo State is for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And to people of Oyo State, that Asiwaju is the hope of Nigeria, simple as that. Asiwaju represents the change that we've all been craving for.
In the country, at the same time in the world, that we are all for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is, TKF is for Asiwaju.
In Oyo State, it doesn't take us time to decide where we are going, and also
It doesn't also take us time to resolve our differences. That's one thing. That's what is peculiar with us.
When we talk of Tinubu is the catalyst leading the Yoruba into the promised land, and by the grace of God, is going to liberate Nigeria from the present problem in which we find ourselves.
And away from politics now. Despite rapid urbanization, women in Abuja are still using firewood for cooking. A health practitioner, however, warns them to be wary of the inherent health implications of using firewood because of the economic situation of the country. Trust TV's Kabir Lawan looks at how firewood is frequently used for cooking and the people using it despite health implications. The report.
Smoke from firewood is known to be generally dangerous to health, but the populations known to be at greater risk include children, teenagers, and older adults. Also at more risk are people with lung disease, asthma, heart disease, outdoor workers, and the homeless, among others. Despite these challenges, many who cannot afford cooking gas due to lack of adequate finance still find themselves forced with the option of firewood. Food vendors who told Trust Television why they use firewood added that they know about the health implications, but don't have any other means of purchasing gas for their businesses.
I know that this firewood, it have effect because it have a smoke, and that smoke can affect somebody. Your eyesight, it can affect you. Even in your head, the fire can affect you.
Gas that they are using now, if you put it maybe 2 days, 3 days, the gas had been finished. And if you don't have money to be putting the gas, your parent cannot eat at home. But firewood, you can move to anywhere. You can meet the firewood and use it and cook the corn. Example like this corn now, if you do not use plenty firewood, you cannot be able to do. If you cook it in gas, if the corn is not done very well, it will make your stomach to pain.
Some women who insist on cooking with firewood said it is not just cheap, but that food cooked with firewood has a unique taste, which brings out the authenticity of flavor, making it attractive to customers.
The reason why I use firewood, because the firewood is very helpful. It helps me in many ways. It's more or less that cheaper than all these gas now. And not only that, when I use it and cook soup or stew, the taste will be more very sweet, delicious than all those gas.
Health experts that spoke to Trust Television News stated that apart from causing havoc to the body system, it also affects the environment negatively and also contributes to deforestation through those supplying the firewood.
Then another way again, if they are using firewood in the community, it will lead to deforestation. They will end up making environment. Understand? They will end up entering bush, cutting the bush, that's trees, which will make the community now they exposed to either weathers. That is the climate change of that environment will be in the high side.
Wood smoke is known to contain such compounds as carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. All of these have been shown to cause psychological responses in human laboratory studies in humans. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The federal government on Tuesday broke the ranks of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, when it registered 2 unions in the university system. The unions are the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, and the Congress of Nigerian University Academics, CONUA. CONUA is a union for lecturers across the nation's universities, and it is led by a lecturer at the Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ile-Ife, Niyi Somunu. The group was established in 2018 at the Obafemi Awolowo University. The Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chris Ngige, explained that the 2 bodies will exist alongside ASU. He further stated that the 2 associations will enjoy the rights and privileges accorded to other academic unions in the tertiary education system. At least one person died and 9 others sustained injuries in an auto crash involving a trailer and a Toyota Sharon bus at Boswa junction of Gagarawa local government area of Jigawa State. 20 cows also died as a result of the accident. The Police Public Relations Officer, Jigawa State Command, Lawan Shisu Adam, confirmed this to newsmen in Dutse on Wednesday. Adam said the accident occurred on Tuesday night when the trailer driver, Ahmed Abdullahi, aged 27, lost control and collided with a Toyota Sharon car on the shoulder of the road. The police PRO said upon receiving the information, the police rushed to the scene and evacuated the victims and rushed them to Gagarawa Primary Healthcare Center. You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still ahead, we look at the myths around snake meat. Details of this and more after the break.
The Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Terrorists release remaining Abuja-Kaduna train passengers 6 months after. And APC governors and National Working Committee in crucial meeting over campaign council crisis. And in other news now, the Federal Executive Council has put finishing touches to the 2023 Appropriation Bill, which will be presented by President Muhammadu Buhari to a joint session of the National Assembly on Friday. However, details of the document will not be released until after the presentation of the budget. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, disclosed this to newsmen at State House, Abuja, after Wednesday's meeting of the Council. Kende Amodu reports.
The sole memo up for discussion on Wednesday was the 2023 Appropriation Bill, which contains budget proposals for the 2023 fiscal year. The federal government is already proposing an aggregate expenditure of 19.76 trillion naira, with a budget deficit of about 12.41 trillion naira. Some key assumptions in the proposal include an estimated oil benchmark of $70, crude oil production put at 1.69 million barrels per day, exchange rate of 435.5 naira to a dollar, and inflation rate set at 17.16%. However, President spokesman Femi Adesina says these may not be the final figures contained in the document after the Cabinet reviewed it on Wednesday.
You have the revised 2023-2025 fiscal framework. You have expenditure profile. You have budget proposal. You have aggregate expenditure, overhead costs, personnel costs, capital expenditure, and so on and so forth. So all those things have been discussed, and where they needed to tweak some of the projections, that has been done. The final approved copy will be presented by the President on Friday.
The special advisor to the President also explained why the Cabinet has continued to meet virtually, even to discuss crucial matters like the 2023 budget proposals.
You have to follow the protocols as done by the Steering Committee on COVID-19. And the last protocol they announced was that when you are in an open place, you are at liberty to do without your mask. But when you are in an enclosed place, then it is advisable to still use your mask. The council chambers is enclosed. There are, I think, 42 ministers. By the time 42 ministers congregate there, along with other cabinet office staff, it's becoming choked. So then it may not be advisable to have a full-blown physical meeting yet.
It will be the last main budget the President will present before he hands over to a successor on the 29th of May next year, when his second four-year term will end. From State House, Abuja, Kende Amodu, Trust TV News.
And to legislative matters now, where the House of Representatives on Tuesday passed the motion seeking to probe multiple grid collapses in the country. Presenting the motion at plenary, Representative Sani Bala from Kano State expressed concerns over the constant reported cases on the incident. He said the national grid collapse only occur when there are system disturbances along the transmission lines connecting a number of generating stations, stating that since 2013, when the privatization exercise took place in the power sector, the country has witnessed over 100 national grid collapses. He also expressed worries about the experts' opinion that the situation will linger for a long time if not addressed. His motion was supported by the Deputy Minority Leader of the House, Toby Okechukwu, and the bill was unanimously passed by members when put to a vote by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila.
Further concern that only this year, the national grid has collapsed 8 times, more than the 3 times recorded last year, thereby causing national power outages with enormous socio-economic implications. Equally concerned that the latest in the series of power failures has been adjudged among the worst the country has witnessed in recent times, which in turn indicate that there is no framework or spinning reserve meant to forestall such occurrences.
We have seen other countries start power generation problems to solve them, and they transit into solving them. South Africa, that is less in population, generates close to 50,000 megawatts. The same with Egypt, and a country that has more than 200 million people is not able to generate up to 5,000 or distribute up to 5,000 megawatts. How can we industrialize, Mr. Speaker? So I believe that we have issues which is disturbing, making it impossible. You might be talking about unemployment.
Now, there are over 500 species of snakes in Africa, which is home to nearly 75% of all snake species worldwide. While different tribes eat foods that may be strange to others, many Africans consider snakes a tasty delicacy that is meat similar to beef or fish. Trust TV came across a man who gathered a curious crowd as he sells a python and its prey in the Bwari axis of the Federal Capital Territory. The report.
Unlike the regular cost of beef, pork, chicken or fish, snake meat is considered exotic in the food industry, as snake farms worldwide sell their products to companies that distribute them globally. Although some believe that snake meat is poisonous or that all snakes are venomous, some people say neither of these myths is true, while those who eat snakes claim it tastes like chicken or fish when appropriately prepared. This trader, who sells fish in Ushafa, the Bwari Area Council of the FCT, says selling snakes is more profitable and that he sells them whenever he gets the chance.
We sell fish and bushmeat here. This is a python. I bought it at Kuje yesterday. I only displayed it this morning. I bought it at 25,000 naira, so I can resell and make profit. This antelope was ingested by the python, and I'm selling it as well. I've been selling snakes for over 20 years, and people, especially restaurants, patronize me.
Contrary to public opinion, in some countries, cooking up a batch of fried rattlesnake or preparing a python steak is easy because supermarkets and stores sell high-quality frozen snakes. Darshan Hussaina Usman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now for a look at the foreign scene, where a roadside bomb killed 3 United Nations peacekeepers from Bangladesh and injured several others in the northwestern Central African Republic. The peacekeeping mission, MINUSCA, said on Tuesday that the attack occurred on Monday near the village of Kaita, close to the border with Cameroon, in an area rife with militia activity. No militia was directly blamed for the attack, although MINUSCA head Valentine Rugwabiza condemned the use of explosive devices by armed groups. The United Nations Multi-Dimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in the Central African Republic said it has launched an investigation into the explosion. And in sports news, Super Eagles midfielder Ogenekaro Etebo arrived in Thessaloniki to complete his transfer to Greek side Aris Football Club. It will be recalled that Etebo agreed to join Aris Thessalonians last month, inking a 3-year deal on September 15th, the summer transfer deadline day in Greece. With the move, Etebo ended his uninspiring 4-year stay on the payroll of English Championship club Stoke City. But after Aris announced the acquisition of Etebo, visa issues stalled the midfield dynamo from travelling to Greece. However, recent reports from Greece revealed that the visa issuance concerns have been resolved and Etebo had received his visa from the London embassy. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.